Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to learn how to make this beautiful maxi skirt. It's made of the granny stitch and it has vertical stripes. This is because the colors keep changing after 2 rows, and in this image it's paired with the butterfly crochet top, one with the lacy pattern at the base of the top. As you can see here, this already has a tutorial as well as a written pattern. The skirt also has a written pattern. I'll be leaving all the links to the related content in the description box below. So let's dive right into the materials. Alright, so for the materials, I needed 2 colors, that is black and white, and I used just about 2 balls of each color. I'll be leaving the yarn amounts in the description box below and also on the screen. So that's all that I needed, and for demonstration purposes I'll be using this white color, and we shall be alternating it with the light blue color, and this is going to be for the demonstration of the stitch so that you can see exactly what's going on. And then you also need a measuring tape, a darning needle, a pair of scissors, and a 3.5mm crochet hook. That's all that you'll need, and let's get started. Alright guys, so this is my demonstration piece, and I'm going to teach you how to do this because it's the general stitch of the design that we are working on. Alright guys, so I'm starting off with my very first color, and this is going to be the blue color. For my actual piece, I started off with the black color, but for demonstration purposes I'll be starting off with this blue color. So you're going to start off with a slip knot, and you're going to make a chain that runs from your waistline all the way down to your feet, or even beyond if you want to achieve a maxi skirt or something even floor length. So you should make sure that your chain is a multiple of 6 plus 1 chain. For me, that is, for my actual skirt, I started with a chain of 192 chains. That's what I started with. But for demonstration purposes, I will start off with 37, which is a multiple of 6 plus 1 chain. For the actual skirt, you should make sure that this length is the length from your waistline all the way to the feet without stretching it. So I have my 37 chains, and you're going to go into the 4th chain from the hook with a total of 2 double crochets. So count from here, 1 2 3, and into the 4th place a double crochet, and then double crochet again in the same exact chain. So this counts as 3 double crochets into the same stitch, since the first chain of 3 counts as a double crochet. You're going to go ahead and make a chain of 1 and skip over 2 chains and 3 double crochets into the next chain. Chain 1, skip 2 chains and 3 double crochets into the next chain. So this is going to be the repeat of the row 1 until you have a total of 3 chains left on your row. Just keep chaining 1, skipping over 2 chains, and double crocheting 3 times in the next chain all the way across until you have 3 chains left on your row. Alright, so I repeated my pattern until I had a total of 3 chains left on my row, and I'm going to make a chain of 1, skip over 2 chains and into the final chain. I'm going to place a total of 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. So that marks the end of row 1. Row 2 is going to be the same exact color as row 1. So you start off with a chain of 4, which counts as a double crochet chain 1. Turn your work, place 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space, chain 1, 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space, and you're going to repeat this all the way across until you place 3 double crochets in the last chain 1 space of the previous row. And I'll show you how to wind up your row 2. So this is what your work will look like. Chain 1, 3 double crochets in the next chain 1 space. So I'm placing my last 3 double crochets into the last chain 1 space of the previous row. This is what we have. And then you're going to make a chain of 1, skip over 2 stitches, and on top of the chain 3 on the edge of the previous row, you're going to place a double crochet. So remember, our row starts with a chain of 4, which counts as a double crochet chain 1, and ends with a chain 1, 1 double crochet. So that's how to balance both sides. So you're going to make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn. And you're going to introduce your next color. For me, that is going to be the white color. And for the actual skirt, it was still the white color because I was using black and white. So you're going to make a slip knot, and you're going to attach your yarn in that very last stitch where you ended your previous color. Go on top of that stitch and attach your yarn. Make a chain of 3, and into that chain 1 space, you're going to place 2 more double crochets to make a total of 3 double crochets here, because the chain 3 counts as a double crochet. So 2 more double crochets into the very first chain 1 space. Chain 1, 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space, and that's going to be the repeat all the way across. Chain 1, 3 double crochets in the next chain 1 space. Repeat that until towards the end of the row. This is row 3, by the way. So keep in mind that we are doing 2 rows of each color. The moment you have 2 rows, you switch to your next color. But this can be different depending on the preference of your color placement. You can even use 5 colors or 7 colors. That's really up to you. But for me, I wanted to use only 2 colors, black and white, for my skirt. But you can go ahead and use as many colors as you wish. You can even use rainbow colors. I feel like that would be a very colorful skirt. All right, so I am placing 3 double crochets in this chain 1 space. And then you're going to make a chain of 1, and into the last chain 4 space, you're going to go in there with a total of 3 double crochets to end your row. This is basically it. This is what your row 3 will look like. Now for row 4, you're going to start off with a chain of 4, and row 4 is going to basically resemble row 2. You make a chain of 4, which counts as a double crochet chain 1, and go into the chain 1 space after skipping the next 2 double crochets. So into the chain 1 space, you place 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space, and you're going to repeat that all the way across until you come to the end of the row, and I'll show you how to wind up. So row 4 is the same as row 2. Whatever you did for row 2 is exactly what you're doing for row 4. Alright, so I'm placing 3 double crochets in the last chain 1 space of the previous row. This is what you should have. And then you're going to make a chain of 1, skip over the next 2 stitches, and on top of the chain 3, you're going to go in there with a double crochet to balance what we have at the beginning of the row, which is a chain of 4 that counts as a double crochet chain 1. So this is what your row 4 will look like. So we are basically going to keep repeating rows 2 and 3, 2 and 3. So since row 4 is the same as row 2, the next row will be the same as row 3. So for now, you're going to make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn just like we did for row 2. Pull through and then reintroduce your previous color, which is the sky blue color. So you repeat the same exact instructions as row 3. So just keep alternating between the 2 colors, making 2 rows of each and every color and repeating the same instructions for row 2 and 3 again and again until you grow your panel. Remember, this length has already been determined. This should be the height of your skirt all the way down to the feet. This is a small demonstration, keep that in mind. So this length is already determined, it's never going to change. But when it comes to this side of the panel, you should make sure that you work your panel until it can stretch to your hip circumference. So you're going to keep alternating between the 2 colors, and I'll be introducing my actual piece in my next clip so that you see the effect that the black and white created as I kept working 2 rows of each color. So just keep alternating between rows 2 and 3, and I'll meet you back when I have my desired length, which is 40 inches for the hip circumference. Alright guys, as you can see, our project has grown. We are having two rows of each color, and we keep switching colors after 2 rows. So you're going to make sure that this length here, if you take a measurement across, you should be able to stretch it to your hip circumference. As you can see, without stretching, I have about 34 inches. But when I stretch, it goes to about 40 inches, which is the hip circumference that I am aiming for. So another thing that you want to make sure that you do is you end on a contrasting color from the beginning color. So we started with a black color for row 1, as you can see here. The foundation chain and row 1 and row 2 were black. Now when it comes to the end, when you're finishing up, make sure you end with a contrasting color, and this time do only 1 row. For me, I did a total of 79 rows altogether in order to get that length to stretch to my hip circumference. Remember, the lines are going to be running vertically. So this is the measurement that we are considering. So I have a total of 79 rows, and my 80th row is the row that's going to join the pieces together in order to form a round or a skirt sort of shaping, or a tube-like shaping for the skirt design. So you should make sure that you do 1 row less. So you can see, instead of doing 2 rows of white for my final color, I've done 1 row because the very last row is going to join the 2 panels together on this side and on this side in order to form a tube or a skirt shaping of our design. So for my final row, I've started with a chain of 3, as you can see here, and then I'm going to turn my work. Actually, let me just do this so that the side where I am attaching is on the downer side of my work. So I've made a chain of 3, and I'm going to go into that chain where the 3 double crochets come from. Now pay attention because this color is almost very hard to see, but I'll explain as much as I can in order for you to get it right. So I've made a chain of 3, and I'm going to go into that chain where the 3 double crochets come from, and I'm going to pull through that loop just like that, and then make a chain of 1, and then I'm going to go into the chain 1 space here. So we are literally working the final row of the white color while attaching onto this side. So I've gone into the chain 1 space with 3 double crochets. I'll make a chain of 1 and go into the next space of the black color, the next chain space, and then pull through that loop and go into the chain 1 space of the white color with 3 double crochets. So as you can see, we've started joining our piece together. So chain 1, remove your hook, insert your hook into the chain 1 space of the black color, pull through the loop, and then 3 double crochets of the white color in the chain 1 space of the white color, just like this. So we're going to repeat that all the way down the skirt. At this point, you're going to determine if you want a slit on your skirt, then you're going to do fewer stitches. You're going to do this until where you want your slit to stop. But for me, I'm not going to have any side slits on my skirt, so I'm going to just keep working all the way down so that I have a complete tube all the way from up to down the skirt. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. Okay, so you can see our piece is being joined, and somehow it's creating an illusion of continuation, because if you're not very keen, you may not even know that this is the seam line of the skirt. So just keep doing that all the way down so that you have a tube structure for your skirt, and then I'll meet you back to show you what to do next. Alright guys, we're coming to the end of the row. As you can see, we're almost through. I am still doing the same exact thing. Chain 1, attach onto the opposite side in the chain 1 space, and then 3 double crochets into the last chain 1 space of the white color. That's the point where I am right now. And now I'm going to make a chain of 1 and attach into the last chain 1 space of the black color, and then double crochet on top of the chain 3 on the edge of the white color, just like that. And that's basically it. You're going to make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn. I'm going to consider the same length as the loose ends of the fringes that we already have, so that this can blend in well. I'm going to deliberately leave behind these fringes for the design part of it, but also so that I don't go through the hassle of cleaning up the edges. But if you want to get rid of these ones, make sure you have your darning needle around if you don't want a fringe at the base of your skirt. And then another thing that I wanted to point out is the fringes are going to be located on only one side of the skirt. The other side is going to be very clean, as you can see here. This side has fringes, this side is clean. So the side that's clean is the one that's going to get the waistband of the skirt. So let's go ahead and see how to do that. So basically we have a long tube that's going to represent the maxi skirt that we are trying to create. Now on the clean side, we're going to go ahead and clean up the edge as well as create the waistband of the skirt. And you're going to determine which color that you want to use for this. For me, I prefer the darker colors on the edges of my projects. So I'm going to go for a black color for the waistband of my skirt. So get your color and let's get started on the waistband. All right, so for the waistband of the skirt, you're going to get your double strand of your color that you've decided to be the one for the waistband, and you're going to make a slip knot. For me, that's black. I'm going to try my best to explain so that you can get exactly what I'm doing. So you're going to attach it in any row. I'm going to attach in a black row, any row of the upper part of the skirt. And then you're going to make a chain of 3, which counts as our very first double crochet. And then you're going to go into the same exact space with 1 double crochet. So that is a total of 2 double crochets in this row. You're going to go all the way around, placing 2 double crochets in each and every row of the skirt. Remember, we are using a double strand. So 2 double crochets in each row of the skirt all the way around. And I'll meet you back at the beginning of the round. So you can see how the solid color is now going all the way around the skirt, and it's going to become a very solid look at the end of it all. So 2 double crochets in each and every row of the skirt. Just go all the way around, cleaning up the top edge of the skirt and also creating the waistband of the skirt. Alright guys, we're coming to the end of the very first round of the waistband, and I am placing 2 double crochets in the last row of the skirt, and then you're going to slip stitch on top of the first chain 3 of the round. So that's how the top of the skirt is going to look like. You can see how clean it is now. And for round 2, you're going to make a chain of 3 and then make a front post double crochet in the next stitch, and then a back post double crochet into the next stitch, front post in the next stitch, and a back post in the next stitch. So you're going to go all the way around, alternating between a front post double crochet and a back post double crochet until you come back to the beginning of the round. This is going to create some sort of ribbed effect. I don't know, I don't think you can see it right now, but it's going to create some sort of ribbing for our waistband of the skirt. You can't see it because I am using a black color and it's really dark, but yeah, it's going to create a ribbed effect. Alright, so we've come to the end of round 2 of the waistband, and I've ended with a front post double crochet. I'm going to slip stitch on top of the first chain 3 of the round to finish up that round 2 of the waistband. Now you can go ahead and make some more rounds. I'll stop at round 2, but if you wish to make your waistband even thicker, then you will make a chain of 3 and then place a front post double crochet in each front post double crochet and a back post double crochet in each back post double crochet all the way around until you come to the end of the round, and you'll place a slip stitch on top of the chain 3 of the round. But for me, I'll stop at this because I don't want my waistband to be thicker as my skirt is already too long. So from here, I will make a chain of 1 and cut my yarn, pull through. And then another thing that we're going to do is to create a drawstring that's going to go into the ribbing of the waistband in order to gather our skirt. You can see it looks like it's even a bit wider at the top, but we want to gather it up so that it creates that illusion of a perfect skirt or something that's functional. So we're going to put a drawstring so that we can gather this distance and so that the skirt can fit even better. So grab your yarn and make a long chain of about 200 chains. So just start off with a slip knot and make a very long chain of about 200 or 250 chains. Just a plain chain, guys. A simple chain of around 250 chains, and I'll be back to show you what to do with it. Guys, I ended up doing a total of 250 chains all together, and this is what my drawstring looks like. Now you're going to get your darning needle and thread one end of the drawstring that you just created. Just thread it like this, and we're going to go in and out of every 2 rows of the topmost round of the waistband. So in and out of every 2 stitches, not 2 rows. In and out of every 2 stitches of the topmost round of the waistband. In and out of every 2 stitches. All the way around. Alright, so I've made it all the way around, and you can see how the drawstring is going to help us gather this waist area of the skirt in order for it to fit perfectly well around the waist. So from here, you're going to just go ahead and make a knot. So you're going to decide whether this knot is going to be at the front of the skirt or the back of the skirt. That's going to really be up to you. So once you make a knot here, you can get rid of the loose ends on our drawstring. At the ends of our drawstring, you can cut off the excess yarn, and then you're going to go ahead and use your darning needle or just make double knots in order to get rid of the loose ends on the skirt as well. So do whatever you have to do to get rid of all the loose ends on your skirt, and that's basically it, guys. Let's see the final look of the skirt. So I ended up leaving the fringes at the base of the skirt, more of to maintain that design, but if you want to get rid of them, go ahead and get rid of them. And this is what we have, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure you give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out the written pattern on all my online shops, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.